Hey, thanks for taking a minute to check out some of these videos about CrossWalk. I hope they will help you make an informed decision about whether or not we're a great fit for you. If we are, we welcome you with open arms. We think you'll love it. If not, there are a lot of other great churches in Napa, and we'd be happy to recommend some of those that we have a particular affinity with. So anyway, what about CrossWalk? Who are we? What are we about? We are, the fancy word for what we are, we're a Christian church. We are a Christocentric. We are shalom focused. We are Bible gleaning, and we operate on an open and relational theological paradigm or handles. What does that mean? That means that we think Jesus knocked it out of the park in terms of what it meant to be an amazing person and a conduit of the Spirit of God. Wherever he went, good, beautiful things happened. And there's ongoing debate about who actually was Jesus and how do we understand his makeup and all that. Here's what we do understand. The things that he did were incredible, and we want to do everything we can to follow in his footsteps because we want to see the same kind of things happen in the world and in our lives. So if he was so attached to God, if he was so close with God, inspired by God, a conduit for the Spirit of God, then let's figure out what he did and do those things so that we might have similar experiences. And if he was such a useful tool of God in making the world a better place and bringing help and health and healing wherever he went, well, we want more of that. So let's figure out what he did to do that. And very briefly, the things that he did. My doctoral work's in the Gospel of John. John works in more of a theological, more than a timeline kind of way. And there are 5 major moves that Jesus seemed to do throughout the Gospel of John in his pursuit of bringing all this good stuff to the world. One of the things he was about was lifelong learning. So he constantly was growing and learning. That's why he challenged some positions, is because he thought differently about things, and he spoke out and spoke into some of those things. He also was known for being a guy of great service. He knelt in service all the time, indiscriminately, to whoever needed help. We should be doing that too, and we should also be lifelong learners. He also stood with people for grace and justice, people who were mistreated. He came alongside them, helped shoulder their burden, and he stood up to the bullies who were causing them pain. That's something that we're called to do. There's no way around that if we're going to follow Jesus. So we need to be wondering and asking ourselves, who's mistreated in our country? Who's mistreated in our community, in our neighborhood, in our families? How might we speak grace to them, and how might we stand with them so that they get treated better? Jesus obviously was a spiritual giant. I don't know if we've ever seen anybody quite like him ever since or before. And he broke away regularly to spend time meditating, studying, thinking, wondering about who God is, what God was doing in his life, and what God was calling him to be and do in the world. We need to cultivate that same kind of stuff. We need to take time away to meditate, to breathe, to pray, to do some reflection, some journaling, what have you. Sometimes attending worship is a part of that, of course, but that's a part of the rhythm that we want to cultivate. And finally, Jesus never did it alone. There's no such thing as a Lone Ranger Christian. There's no such thing as a leader who leads all by himself. And Jesus chose to do his whole ministry as much as he could with people. And that needs to really instruct us and inform us. Community matters. We cannot do this thing alone. We need to support other people, and we need to be supported. We need to hear other voices to help our own thinking, to help resonate in our experience, to join together to do work greater than we can do on our own. So that's a little taste of who we are, and you'll see this stuff reflected all over CrossWalk. You'll hear the word shalom a lot. That's a Hebrew word which has to do with deep peace, well-being, love, kindness, all of those things. That's really what we're about and what we want to continue to be about. You'll hear us butcher that word, and we'll say things like shalomi, or that's not very shalomy. And we're tongue-in-cheek on these things. We mean no disrespect to the word. It's actually a term of endearment for us because we want to be so about making the world a better place with the shalom that Jesus came to teach us about, which formed his thinking as a Jewish man. So we hope you give us a shot. I hope this sounds interesting to you. We also are in an open and relational theological plane or paradigm that is different than probably what you grew up with. So it's a different way of understanding who God is, relating to God, and maybe I'll do a whole little video on that. So look for that one. All right, thanks for tuning in. Check out the others.